Prophet Station Radio. Top to the stove. Yes.
Doing the Motor City
Jim.
today.
Woo! Yes, we are. And the madness is just beginning. We're talking Robocop on PSR. Y'all wanted it. Y'all needed it. So we watched it. I'm MCJC. That's Michael Michelangelo. Producer Jim on the guitar. Robocop. You know, I just like having a project like PSR where we have an excuse to watch Robocop. I loved going upstairs to the room to watch the TV alone with my little notebook and pen telling my bride to be like, I got work to do. And I'm going watching Robocop. It rules. Yeah, and it works well off the back of talking about cyborgs. Robocop, probably the most valiant cyborg is he the most heroic cyborg?
Potentially.
Yeah, I'm just scanning through other cyborgs, and yeah, a lot of them are like bad news.
Yeah, dude. they're bad, generally. And Robocop in the movie is supposed to be bad. It's the Borg part of his cyborg being that we can get to the finer points of Robocop theology later. But I want to start just right off the bat. I think we have to give homage to the filmmakers, dude. Paul Verhoeven, one of the world's greatest filmmakers. He would, and one of the writers, Edward Neumeier, they made Robocop together, and then like 10 years later, they made Starship Troopers, another misunderstood, brilliant sci-fi classic.
Oh, I just today, I peruse locations where clickbait occasionally and there was this story that was like, you'll never guess which film from 1997 they didn't even know was satire. And everyone's comment was like, if you didn't realize that Starship Troopers was satire.
Right.
But it reminded me of the film and how good it is.
Yeah. I think like Robocop, even I something that really gets in my craw is when middlebrow people, like even when they understand it's satire, they think it's not well made. They think that the cheesiness is bad. They don't see the fucking the craftsmanship and the storytelling register. They don't get that Verhoeven knows what he's doing. Like, it's not, Robocop is not, failing to be a certain thing. It is nailing what it is. It's right. That's a way different can of worms there.
I was having a similar thought last night. Watched Jason and the Argonauts. You know, it's not the irony aspect of it, but it is pretty dated. And I was having the similar, like, appreciation for what it is, you know? Mm-hmm. Have y'all seen it?
I've only seen clips of it. Like the stop motion animated parts of it. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth a watch, too.
Yeah. Y'all, I'm going to back out so I can back in and use the correct camera.
Okay.
This is the POV clip.
That is a wild-looking guitar, man.
Yeah, show us that, baby.
Yeah, this is the Parker Nightfly. I did swap out the pickups with Lawler pickups. Shout out to Jason Lawler. Sorry I made the monitor feedback in your ears, buddy. I met him once. He was very cool. He's like a jolly blues Santa Claus. Did sound for him. But, it is a funky guitar. They're ugly by design.
Okay.
it resonates extremely well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of a less advanced model. They have a guitar called a Fly. I've had two of them. The last one was among the things that was robbed from me. But it's extraordinarily thin, resonates extraordinarily well, and has carbon graphite on the neck, which this one does. The other also has it on the body to increase resonance. In my opinion, the first truly new electric guitar design since like 1954.
Wow.
They came out in the early 90s.
How new is that?
This
That
is a
design?
98. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
Hell
I'm
yeah.
trying to think. RoboCop. What would he play? What kind of guitar would RoboCop
He play a BC Rich. You know that.
Yeah.
Come on now. What's the really crazy looking BC Rich?
Well, there's the Warlock, which is like
The
kind of
Warlock.
spider shaped. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
The
rules.
Mockingbird is a little bit like it's more like asymmetric. Yeah. There's this
Can you-
company. Oh.
Can I direct you to give yourself a little bit of headroom?
Oh, so the audience.
There's that
Nice.
new cut.
My haircut.
Look
It's
at
funny,
that, dude.
Yeah.
I cut my haircut, and today it's grown in, but I cut my hair and clean shave, and all of a sudden, just knee deep in women. It's crazy.
Wow.
I
That's
don't get
all it took.
That's
That's
a
all
good
it
problem
took.
to have.
You were only ankle deep in women.
Right, now I'm
And
tits
now-
deep in women.
Now you're tits deep in women. Wow.
Yeah.
is that your in that expression? Are those your tits or their
Right.
tits?
Depends on how tall they are.
Makes a lot of sense. Now- It's interesting. Men don't really have. I remember when we were younger, we would say something really nasty about obese men. We would say they had bitch tits.
Oh,
Very
sure, yeah.
nasty thing to say. Yeah.
Well, I was
wouldn't
polite.
say
I
that
said man
anymore.
boobs.
I would never.
Man, right. That's all I ever said too. I never said anything else. Anyways.
Isn't that what they said to Meatloaf in Fight Club?
Oh yeah, I thought when you said that, I thought you were about to talk about Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Did they call him? Yeah, I think he did have bitch tits and man boobs in Fight Club.
I thought the phrase "bitch tits" was specifically used as an insult to him in the movie. I haven't seen it since it came out.
Yeah. Golly, that is like a millennial male burned in your brain
Oh yeah.
classic. Until the day I die, the Fight Club will be stored, protected. We have to protect those brain cells. I mean, you know, it's just the culture. I can't escape it.
Yeah. Although I can't recall who the Meatloaf is.
He played one of the guys that showed up to Fight Club. I don't really remember. He was just he
Yeah.
played a small character in the movie.
Small
Who was
character,
he?
big tits.
That's right.
Yes. Let's go.
Gosh, we could do a whole episode on Meatloaf.
And his man boobs, which is what I call them.
Well, isn't it kind of weird to?
Go on, say it.
No. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, so RoboCop, I think something I really want people to understand is that Edward Neumeier, after the middling commercial venture known as Starship Troopers, he went on to write four sequels, and he directed one of them. So he really got locked in to the Starship Troopers universe.
Yeah.
And he was one of the writers on the RoboCop remake. Him and Michael Miner, who co-wrote the original RoboCop, are both credited on the remake with another guy. I forget who.
Wow.
Joshua Zatumer. That's not good.
No, that's
anyways,
not a great name.
Yeah. Anyway,
Godspeed.
so that's strange. Like, it's really odd to write the remake of your film 20 years later, I think.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't know how much, if any, we'll get into the remake, but for me, especially odd given the contrast between the two.
Right. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, so let's dig into RoboCop itself. Why is it objectively true that RoboCop is a masterpiece of unimpeachable quality and undeniable vision, but also the satire, the politics of it is so good. It's so clear-sighted.
Yeah.
Why, gentlemen?
I would kind of like to summarize with a message I sent to a woman on Facebook dating that did not reply.
Is this gonna get us demonetized?
No, no. But this person asked me like what kind of, because my profile says like I like learning about stuff, and sometimes I like get really into something and learn a lot about it. And she asked me like what some of the things were, and I was like, the grammar of the Quechua language was one. I forget what else I was into last week, but and then I said RoboCop, and she said that RoboCop, I haven't seen it. Tell me what interests you about it. And I actually, as a teaser for this episode, I wrote a couple more paragraphs where I offered my alternative takes to what I presume to be the prevailing take of the message or whatever you want to call it of the film. But I replied to this person, it's very entertaining and stylish. The unforced acting by Peter Weller allows space for the outlandish practical effects and overacting by other characters to create a duality that mirrors the cyborg that is RoboCop. It also manages to include both subtle and very comedic satire without compromising an overall serious tone. Although justice is the most underlying principle, I don't find the film to be particularly moral or cautionary. It does, however, perhaps suggest l'avenir rather than le futur, or however you say it in French. But the French have two different words for the future. One of them means kind of like what will happen as events just proceed, and the other is a more aspirational and the difference between, what will happen with this war if the strikes continue going back and forth versus, what could happen if people get over war. Does that kind of make sense?
Totally.
Sure.
Yeah, one is more like a continuation of the status quo, and the other is like what are the aspirational possibilities?
Right.
Right. I love that about RoboCop, that it's almost not even they don't use like you're saying, like you could use the future as a canvas to project certain like possibilities or express. I think the most famous example of that would be Star Trek, where you use the future as a place to project fantasy and possibility.
Yeah, what may come.
Right. And then I think that's so beautiful, because I think it really captures why RoboCop feels sort of, it feels so dark, because it's so realistic and not hopeful. But then the hope comes out of a more eternal story of the inherent humanity overcoming not just the bleak future that they've arrived at, but also the unbelievable burden of the machinery that has kept his heart pumping and brain going, but controls him in a way. It's like he's even able to escape that. So there is like a core. It's not hopeful about the future, though. It's just like a core like hero story that isn't really about like we'll overcome. It's not that at all. Like I think that makes it so much more challenging than the vast majority of fiction.
Yeah, and because I really do see like a lot of dystopian settings, things like Cyberpunk 2077. I would even include Alien, even though you don't see the world that they're coming from. Fifth Element was kind of fucked up in some ways. But the future that's portrayed in Robocop doesn't. I mean, it feels like the status quo continuing. It doesn't feel like anything crazy came along and mixed things up. It just feels like, yeah, that's where capitalism and population growth will get us.
Yeah.
And it's what's so funny is that and then they were accurate. Really, the things they don't get right are personal electronics, which no one ever gets right how that stuff will actually look.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
But that's
GPS
really
tracker was. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the charm. That nowadays, looking back, that's like a huge charm actually of Robocop is that. It's our world, but everything looks like the 80s. It's cool.
Yeah, and if I recall, it took place in 2028, correct? Robocop, the modern day.
That's a good question.
That sounds right.
Robocop. Oh, sorry,
Robot police.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody call the robot police.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, like, bring them on.
Yeah.
I think we would do better with not because I've been posting a meme that's like ACAB, what about Robocop? But you know, a cyborg that does not deviate from its directives is only as good as its directives. And
So I want to talk about that point. The ACAB, what about Robocop? Touches on something that I think filmmakers, especially filmmakers with political, like left-wing political commitments, need to fucking realize, is that if you want to make good, serious left-wing film, you make a cop the good guy. You make... Like, it's so obvious. Like, Robocop is so much more effective as art that makes you think about the implications of the world as it is, because the main character is a cop, and he's not a corrupt cop. He, like, is in it for the right reasons and is the kind of guy, if we're gonna have cops you want on the street. And his partner is good, and
an assertive woman.
Right? Yeah. Dude, that's something that Paul Verhoeven's sci-fi always has co-ed locker rooms.
Yeah, right.
Like in Starship Troopers, they get naked and shower together and stuff. It's like, what are you? That's...
Right. And like in Starship Troopers, the cop changing room, you get in like, what was it, the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes at least, you get multiple man-ass, and you get tits for no reason. Neither of them sexualized whatsoever.
No.
He's almost mocking the rating system because he knew that the gratuitous violence would place it in that category.
So, and Starship Troopers is another example where Paul Verhoeven is making a what a lot of people would interpret as maybe the best anti-fascist film of all time. And what do you do to make a great anti-fascist film? The main characters are fully bought into the propaganda line of the fascist government. That it's like you don't make left-wing filmmaking is so underserved when it's how all cops are bad and all military people are bad, and like, and then this, like, I don't know, left-wing style person is good, like this activist is the hero. It's just not how it's done, folks.
I see that also like in media consumption, and just for the record, I have no political beliefs or opinions whatsoever, but I frequently talk to people who are very far right and very far left, and it's like, oh well, Mr. Leftist CNN is like a Democrat Party psyop. Do you ever watch Fox News? And they're like, no, I could never watch that shit. I'm like, why would you not watch that to know at least what they're talking about and maybe how they're talking about it? But it's also like, if you already think that the Democrats are evil, turn on some MSDNC and boy howdy.
Dude, the other day I was on a long car ride with some friends, and one of them is from Europe and understands the American political landscape, but not to the depth you might expect someone who grew up here. But they understand it fairly well. But their understanding was that the average Republican is literally a white separatist, would want to kick out all non-white people and have America be truly white ethno-state. And it was such an interesting example of what you're talking about, where it seemed like, oh, you have never actually sat down and listened to right-wing media.
Well, yeah, and that's right off the bat excluding all the black and brown people who are Republican as well.
Yeah, right.
There are plenty of.
Mm-hmm. I remember
More
Dave
every day.
Chappelle, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, if you're not watching it, what I notice when I watch media that's really geared towards a demographic that's based on political opinion, it's rarely good. It's interesting, but almost more interesting, like anthropologically rather than substantive. I didn't always feel that way, but now my mind engages with it like I'm like David Attenborough looking at how a bird dances to attract a mate or something. It's really strange, which I wonder what that is in me that can't really bond to it anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in order to minimize pleasure and joy and hope, one should exclusively listen to media people that they already know that they disagree with.
I love that as the utility of the action is to limit hope and joy.
Yeah. Wow. That's the accelerationist in me, but just kidding, folks.
Yeah, you have no political beliefs. Remember that.
Yeah.
But does Robocop? What do y'all think?
Robocop the film or Robocop the character?
The character. Because I presume that he gets to vote.
Ooh, now that's a good question. Can Robocop vote? I don't think so. I don't think he's a citizen.
Yeah.
Because he's dead, right? Is he confirmed? Well, he never dies, maybe.
Alex died. But he eats that paste. Where was I the other? Oh,
if you eat paste, you can't be dead.
Yeah, I was in Costco and this Gen Z. I've been like a few times in the last few weeks. I've instigated like intergenerational conflict between people older and younger. Or at least like perspective and stuff. But
Sure.
There was this Gen Z person serving some sort of like protein applesauce or some bullshit at Costco, free samples. And I went up and I just commented like, oh, this looks like the paste they feed Robocop. And they said, like, you know, in that overly apologetic Gen Z kind of way, they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't watch many movies," and then because there was like a conservatively dressed boomer next to us, this guy, I like quick thought, and I said, "Oh, that's good. Almost all movies are propaganda." And then I could see the boomer like kind of process that and look a little shocked.
Yeah, a little stirring of something.
Yeah.
My thought about the character Robocop, at least Murphy, before he becomes Robocop, I would imagine is this kind of guy that doesn't exist very much anymore, who might not actually vote, and but when he does he could go back or forth between the like an actual centrist who just wants to be a good guy and grew up at a time where there like kind of John Wayne good guys did exist as a possibility in his imagination.
Ken
He's
Bone
that
good
kind of
guys.
guy.
Yeah, I do think any
Is that right?
Yeah, I do think any sort of like expectations that we might have given his occupation are out the window because the police are private. He's not going to vote for the people. There is, you know, no parties obviously serve police departments well because now they have to buy it from the company.
Right. Yeah, in the Robocop future, the privatized police force. Not under Mamdani's watch, is right? I think that the film as a whole feels left wing only because, but I don't think that it actually has a perspective that's politically motivated. I think it just feels left wing because the bad guys are in the corporation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and there was an outright murder
Yeah.
in the building.
Right.
There's
Wait,
not
which
trying
one?
to-
Which murder are you talking about?
The first robot that was the pitch that they were giving before RoboCop.
Yeah.
The very brutal
Ed something.
Oh yeah, Ed 209.
209.
Ed 209.
Giddy
Let's
up
go. I
209,
did.
Yeah.
Man, I was laughing my ass off whenever the thing was trying to go down the stairs, you know, towards the latter half. And stumbling down the stairs like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there's so much slapstick and silliness too.
yeah.
Sure, yeah. And Dick Jones, when he pitched it, said that crime would be eliminated in what, weeks using the Ed 209. It's like, I think if
Right.
stairs and falling down are its failure modes, it's not quite ready for production. So OCP dodged a bullet with that sacrifice of the board member.
Yeah. That is like a really cool contrast, though, of like the really grotesque brutality of some of it, but then paired with that sort of slapstick, like comedy aspect of it, which, you know, it wasn't always super clear to me, like what's supposed to be funny, you know, but that's one of the reasons I really liked it too. Kind of frees you up a little bit to have your own opinion about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not fully ironic. It's not quote unquote supposed to be cheesy or something. It's you're supposed to get on the ride of Murphy's humanity overcoming these tremendous odds and redemption and rebirth and this like Christ-like overcoming of death. You're supposed to get on that ride, but then along the way there is absurdity that it understands is absurd. That's the strangest part. It knows it is absurd. at times.
Yeah, I think the choice for the film to open with the newscast and to have a couple of accessory stories at the beginning. What was it? A neutron bomb in South Africa? I didn't write down where it was. But then the president of the U.S. was in a space station, but the artificial gravity wasn't working, and it showed him floating around. It's like, why the hell would the president ever go to a space station, right? Unless they were planning to nuke the entire globe, the president of the U.S. would never go to a space station.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Trump ever goes to the International Space Station, get ready.
That would be so funny.
That'd be terrifying.
Trump, astronaut. Him walking with the big thing under his arm, the helmet under his arm, going up to the shuttle.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, he did it with big rigs. Why not space ships?
Right.
That's right.
Fire trucks.
Damn, dude.
My man, he's probably going to pilot one of the what are they called? The Hellstorms? If he's just like, would they show him beep booping around on the computer guiding in the... Can I do one?
Yeah,
That'd be
Trump.
so sick.
Trump pilots a drone strike
Yeah.
for the cameras.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different ways we could go about this film. I've got a couple of alternate takes that we could get into. We could.
I want
talk through
those.
some
Yeah,
of
I
the
want to hear.
details.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear your takes. What are the takes?
All right. So, do you want to start with the one that's a little bit more incredulous and kind of like a little bit of a mockery of social comment, of like contemporary social commentary, or do you want the one that I actually am fully on board with?
Whoa.
I say the
Give
fully
us-
on board.
Michael likes the sincerity.
Always.
No.
That's case.
Okay. So that one, yeah, and I'm glad that Jonathan's already a couple times alluded to the story as a story of Robocop refinding the parts of him that are still human from having been the body of Alex Murphy, and even use the phrase Christ-like. And while I do not disagree with the kind of compelling human element of him realizing the person whose body he was built out of and being able to fail to remember his wife and kid, but to feel them, I think was the way he phrased it. He's kind of trying to, sort of redeveloping that. I don't think that element has that much consequence in the actual unfolding of events and the narrative.
Right.
I think perhaps it did, intrigue him when the guy with the new metal sideburns told him oh, we killed you, blah blah blah, and then he was able to backtrack and use that information to discover he was Murphy. But he might have used that to target the criminals that he was going after. But at the end of the day, he was given 3 directives and one secret directive. And all of his actions were fully within the bounds of those directives. As a programmed machine, he did not deviate. And so I don't really see his humanity as breaking through or overcoming anything, because he still did exactly what they had told him to do in a very general sense. And in fact, the spoiler alert, the final scene of the film, the 4th hidden directive was preventing him from executing justice. But
if OCP, if the company that made him, if any of their officers have broken the law, he can't prosecute or he can't murder them.
Yeah, that any
right?
attempt to arrest a senior officer of OCP would result in immediate shutdown.
Right.
And they of course teased that earlier in the film, but in the final scene, the executive who did bad things and should have justice done to him was fired on the spot by the only person above him. And in that sense, RoboCop, it's not like he was able to do justice because the person no longer met the criteria for Directive 4. So in that sense,
Right.
I don't see film so much like the message, so to speak, being that he was getting in touch with his humanity, and that's where kind of the goodness of his mission came from, if one might see it as a good mission. He maybe had some curiosity and had some revenge directing him, but he still just followed the directives. I see if anything can be taken away explicitly from the plot, it is that corporates should be very cautious when they are writing their bylaws, because a better written Directive for Dick Jones still could have evaded justice from RoboCop. But is the lesson that any corporate or any entity who writes its own rules is going to still end up getting their comeuppance? I don't know that that's the message. Yeah, I think that's where I'll end it there.
I've something that you highlight there that's really important is ultimately the CEO is the guy who makes it's because his heart is converted against Dick Jones. That's why Dick Jones ends up getting fired and then is able to be brought to quote unquote justice. So it's in that way, it's very practical and not very idealistic about it's not about, society changes or something. It's very real. It's like pragmatic or realistic in that way, like realism as opposed to idealism. But I will say the reason that all of that happened is because despite the fourth directive being revealed when RoboCop comes in to arrest Dick Jones, and then he's like, he is struggling. He's like, I'm shutting down. I can't do it. Yeah. Then he brings evidence, he creates the situation in which the truth of Dick Jones is revealed to others with, I think with the hope that if I can't bring him in, some kind of comeuppance might come of bringing this to light. So he shows the video and in the boardroom, and so I do think. Now, also, I'm a sucker for a story having a message about the triumph of humanity over its technological prison, but but I do think that Murphy even stops calling himself RoboCop and calls himself Murphy, and and then from that place he's able to overcome what OCP, the company, wants him to be, and he does pursue justice. But then you're right, he's not able to actually step out of his programming either. So
sure, yeah, and that whatever Red Foreman's character was named, the big drug
Boddicker
leader, Kurt Boddicker, something Boddicker, that he was associated with Dick Jones. RoboCop went for Red Foreman because he was able to piece together that he was the one that killed Alex Murphy, and but he was still within his bounds of pursuing justice. It was entirely coincidental that Dick Jones had any ties.
Right, that's true.
So, one could argue that RoboCop was simply being a good detective. He found out new information and he brought it to the people who were in charge of operating the justice system in New Detroit or whatever it was called.
That's almost, there's almost like a value around extremely routinized robot-like pursuit of justice in what you're saying. And actually, Dick Jones only gets tied up with I'm on the Wikipedia here, Clarence Boddicker.
Right.
They only get tied up because of a shitty interpersonal thing that the guy who leads the Robocop, the like executive who is backing the Robocop plan, doesn't like Dick Jones for no valiant or moral reasons. It's merely because Robocop is his thing and he wants to be successful, and Dick Jones, his thing is the Ed 209. So their conflict, Dick Jones hires Clarence to come in and kill his rival, but there's it's purely for gain, like monetary gain. It's not, there's no value system at work there.
Yeah, and he could have hired someone else who kills people, certainly, like in that aspect. Like that seemed like an arbitrary, there was nothing inherently relating those two and RoboCop all at the same time.
Ooh, that's a really unsatisfying, the more we dive into that, it's like, that's sort of an unsatisfying part of the story, because RoboCop is, of course, satisfied because at the end, because killing Clarence Boddicker is a revenge for his own death, because that's the guy who kills him. But him being wrapped up with Dick Jones is just sort of like just bullshit. That's funny.
Yeah, I think, like hearing y'all talk about it and thinking back on it, I kind of came away from the movie more akin to Jim's take, and not sure that I can articulate it well, but as being a somewhat amoral message, if there is any message at all, and it's hard to say too, though, because it's like, it also is kind of a dark film, just in the portrayal of the like visual society that you see, and especially how some of those final scenes where it's in like that totally run down warehouse industrial type look to it. That gives it a certain feel, but at the same time, on top of that, even RoboCop himself. Yeah, I don't know that it was ever anything more, at least the way that I was perceiving it, than like a robot doing what it was designed to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Something about Jonathan, the way I feel like it's too optimistic. The way that I'm hearing it come from you.
Yeah, I do see a read. I do see a read of the film where the takeaway is that every kind of manifestation of his having been a human was just a bug of an otherwise super effective machine, and it never interfered. Right. But like him having the dream and stuff, it didn't serve any purpose. But fortunately, it did not cause any failure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't know. It's hard for me to think that it's not about ultimately the storyline isn't about him losing his humanity and then regaining it, and the big, the name thing is a huge.
Sure.
To me, a huge, bright, blinking light to the audience that, like, him regaining his identity as a human man is the core of the arc of his character, and that he is then able, because of that regained identity, he is able to find out a way to overcome the purpose of his programming, and while he has to stick to it, he does ultimately overcome the purpose of the Directive 4 is to protect OCP higher ups. So and he knows that's wrong. He doesn't know it as a robot. He knows that as a man. It's the man in him that knows that's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I would, when he goes to execute justice to Dick Jones the first time and is unaware of the directive and becomes frozen, he does physically try to continue doing justice and is stopped by the shutdown.
Right.
So I would definitely add that in that box. On the other side, I don't think I think it's a perfectly fine argument to say that he said his name was Murphy upon being asked because he learned that in a very programming sense.
True.
Yeah.
Right. That's very funny. That was a very funny reading of that moment. I mean, but also he would later go on to save Sting at WCW Capital Combat. So I think it was only someone with a true heart would go on to
Save
help
the bad
Sting.
guy. Yeah, because it's obviously not the good thing to do.
Wait. I do have to say, too, the amount of people in this movie who would go on to star in iconic television roles that make it really hard to see them as anything but that is quite high. I can think
Like
of
who?
3 right off.
Really?
Well, of course, Red Foreman, Clarence
right.
Boddicker. That's the big one. The
Was
dad
that
from
pre-
That 70s Show?
That had to be before that
Yeah.
70s show, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that 70s show did come out much closer to the 70s than to present day, by the way. Just
Yeah.
for people who haven't.
But then also the guy who plays the executive who is backing RoboCop, that executive, he's Agent Alfred in Twin Peaks.
Sure.
And then Leland Palmer from Twin Peaks. The guy who plays Leland Palmer is one of Boddicker's like henchmen. He the last one to die, the sniper at the very end.
yeah.
Right.
That guy's
right.
Leland Palmer.
Yeah.
So two Twin Peaks characters,
Nice, man.
and then the guy from 70s. It was so crazy watching it, and yeah it's like 4 years before Twin Peaks comes out, and then I don't know, 8 or 10 years before that 70s show. It's very strange. It's so seeing them on screen.
Yeah. What are some of Peter Weller's other iconic roles besides Fear and Loathing, or not Fear and
Buckaroo
Loathing?
Banzai.
Oh yeah, that Naked Lunch. Yeah.
Dude, Naked Lunch is such a good movie. Oh my gosh. Whoo! I forgot he's in Naked Lunch.
Y'all are constantly reminding me that I have not seen enough cinema. But then on top of that, movies that I think I've seen, I in fact have not seen. You know what's really funny is I was mistaking RoboCop for Sylvester Stallone. It's the Dredd.
Demolition
Judge
Man.
Dredd.
Oh, Judge Dredd. Yeah.
I was thinking about like what would happen
Judge
if
Dredd.
they teamed up or whatever.
Right? Holy shit. Yeah.
Or fought.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I'm just
Let's
going to go
go.
out on a limb.
Let's go.
RoboCop, well, yeah, there are certain situations where cops are authorized to use lethal force by law, but his thing was doing the law, not being judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
Which is
Right.
a different kind of ballgame.
Oh, for sure.
I just
Like that
think
time
about
he
Duke
shot that
Nukem,
guy
what?
in the dick between. Remember that time he shot a guy in the
So
dick
sick, dude.
between
Yeah,
a woman's legs?
Yeah. And
Damn.
want to take this moment to shout out our RoboCop remake. Check it out. It's amazing. It is a bunch of comedians and content creators, whatever. Came out in 2004, I believe. So it's good old stuff. But a whole bunch of different teams. Each one had a single scene that they were to recreate however they chose. And you got things ranging from abstract modern dance to cartoon to script verbatim, but funny visual comedy. But I'll do a spoiler alert here for the one that it takes the cake. This team called Fatal Farm that I don't know anything about. They expand the dick shot scene. And
Okay.
In my memory, honestly, when I was watching RoboCop, the film, I thought that there were 3 dick shots in it. That's how much the Fatal Farm was etched into my memory. But there's more than
Yeah.
3. There's a whole bunch of full frontal male nudity that RoboCop executes justice to, and it's one of the funniest shorts that I've ever seen.
I love you using this nomenclature of execute justice is just the description for RoboCop pursuing his programming.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That was
Can
great.
you just
There's also
imagine getting
ahead.
your dick blown off?
If you're about to essay a woman, it's a really
It's coming, bro.
swift. Yeah, right. It's a really swift form of poetic justice.
Yeah.
It is, and it fully eliminates the threat.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah, forever.
And to a permanent, it's a compromising the threat to a permanent end. Damn.
But I mean, never mind.
Say
I
it.
won't say that.
Come
Say
on,
it, Jim. Come on, producer Jim.
All right, so it's Pride Month. We love them. We love them all. I want to preface by saying that love every, but I just feel like I've never heard of someone who was to undergo a gender affirming procedure, do any spectacle.
Yeah. Whoa, that's true. Like, that's true.
I don't know.
That's
Have you heard
true.
of- I don't know.
What do we
I've
mean
never heard of
here?
that.
Sure, like instead of having like a medical suture in in an operating room and no one's watching, like really put it on, make a show out of it. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the gender the
But you should
absurd
sell 'em.
gender
Yeah,
reveal videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Butcher, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. This actually reminds me, my friend who transitioned to female was going in for her first mammogram, and she asked me afterwards. She said, someone said something to me, and I didn't really know how to answer them. What do you think? And she went in to get her mammogram and was like really stoked about it. And the receptionist was like, "You seem really excited for a mammogram." And then, and for her, it was a big, a milestone in the transition. But what I told her is, what I would say is everyone should be super excited about preventative care. And I stand by that
Right.
100%.
There you go.
I think that's the whole problem with our healthcare system.
Oh,
I mean, people make money from companies
There's
make
no
money from
hype on preventative care.
Right. It's like I've joked about this for decades now, but when I pop my, when I put on my seatbelt or I pop my statin for my high cholesterol, YOLO.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
I have a super ignorant question, and I'm just
Uh-oh.
a mortal man here. Okay.
Some more. Let me just write down this timestamp if I have to edit.
Yeah. What? Well, first off, what is a mammogram? Is that a breast screening?
Yeah.
Do men get breast cancer?
So yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Men do have some
Back
breast
to man
tissue.
boobs here.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're taking estrogen, you will develop a lot more breast tissue and it becomes a lot more possible. And additionally, you have new growth of breast tissue. And anytime new things are growing, there's a higher chance that they'll grow in a pathological way. But yeah, you should probably get a mammogram.
Damn. Because I got them titties.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would just say, yeah, it's possible for men as well as females that have transitioned from something else.
Well, here's a question. What's with the prostate?
What's the what?
What is
that-
with the prostate?
you know?
What's the deal with the prostate? Well, I've got some good news for you.
Yeah.
It can be stimulated. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
it can. And
This is
it
the
will.
hidden fifth directive of Robocop. The prostate.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I actually don't know what it does biologically, but
It fucks up though, right? At times, and then you
Yeah.
pee weird. That's
I have no
my
idea. I know
understanding.
it can be enlarged.
And that sounds like it would be cool because it's right
you
to
would
your
think.
dick.
'Cause it's
Yeah, it's
penis,
part of
yeah.
the system.
Yeah.
We're like, so we're getting bigger? Hell yeah.
Yeah, you sit down with your
man.
doctor.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, my dad had cancer there. He actually survived 2 kinds of cancer. He had really bad
Whoa.
skin cancer on his head from being bald and surfing. And he had
Respect.
prostate cancer. It's yeah, you can get cancer there.
Yeah.
You can get cancer anywhere.
Anywhere. Yeah. These days.
Some places more often than others, though, right?
Yeah, heck, I survived cancer.
What'd you say?
You have a
I
survivor?
survived. I'm a cancer survivor.
Really?
Yeah,
What
100%.
was it?
A basal cell carcinoma on my nose. I had it cut out in November. Of last year.
Man.
I mean, it's like I feel like it's stolen valor to even bring it up.
No, dude, live it up, brother.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I don't know. I mean, it does have like a less than 1% metastasis rate, so it is possible that if I just ignored that there was a spot on my nose that would open and bleed every week or two for a long enough time, it could have traveled to parts of my body where it spread and got serious. But yeah,
for
it's
sure.
like as little dicked as a cancer could be.
Still a dick, though, bro. Still a dick.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
Michael's slogan. Little dick, still a dick. Damn. That's,
You know what we should do is make the thumbnail for this video, like got milk, and it's just a guy with a big old titty.
that's a really good idea. Yeah, this has been the man boob episode, strangely.
Just think
Yeah.
about it.
Gosh.
That's really good. That would do well in the YouTube algorithm.
Right.
Yeah. So Jonathan knows the guy. Michael, when I was like 14, I told my mom that my friend Neil started lactating because sometimes men do lactate. Like it's
Do you know why
uncommon.
though? Like what? You know what would make it?
Yeah, you know, the breast tissue. I don't really know. I just heard
Yeah.
when I heard that some men sometimes do it. I told my mom that my friend did it because I thought it was funny, and then
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 years later, she brought it up because she like just believed me because I had told her that.
You know what was funny? We kind of got into a lactating argument here recently.
Oh, yeah?
Because, well, I was always under the assumption that, like, for women, any repetitive stimulation of the nipple will,
Yeah.
in the body, tell it to make milk. Because
Oh, yeah.
it's thinking, you know, like that there's a baby. And
Right.
I know that, like, for sure, once, you know, an animal or a person, once they have a baby, start producing milk, as long as, like, there's continued suckling, it will continue to produce milk. And I
Right.
think, is that, like, what midwives would do is, like, they would just continually produce milk because they're midwifing babies, or maybe midwifing specifically to giving birth. I don't know. I have a lot
Yeah.
of weird,
I don't know. You know, there's definitely hormones that make someone produce milk with pregnancy.
Right.
I don't know the rate at which lactation occurs without pregnancy, and I
Yeah.
don't know
Right.
the rate of spontaneous lactation. I would guess that being like 6'9", like you're gonna make it to the NBA, but like of
Yeah.
all the 6'3" people that are playing in college, not all of them are gonna be pros. So I feel like some of the midwives were spontaneous lactators. Others, maybe they started lactating from their own pregnancy.
It's the most absurdly male version of that.
Bro, on top of that,
yeah.
Jonathan, your smacking was like I could hear you
Oh, yeah.
chewing so clearly.
It does sound like you're nursing.
It was getting louder as you were like getting into the gun.
That's funny. You're thinking of a wet nurse.
Wet nurse, that's it.
Wet
yeah,
nurse.
my bad. Yeah. But Jonathan, have you heard that? Like, I mean, you can make a woman produce milk by constant stimulation or by often, right? Isn't that a thing?
Michael, I have no idea.
You don't have to get. I don't know.
And I'm too afraid to ask.
I'm invested in this on my side because we had a small argument about it. I was like, no, dude, I'm telling you.
I will say this. One of the most fun things about being a man with a woman for a partner is getting into arguments with them about female
their
anatomy. It's so good. It's like one of the best things you can spend your time doing. The complete lack of dignity that they give your side of the argument is it's just total and complete lack of any kind of belief that you could be right. It's so funny.
Sure. Yeah, like
Well, on top of that, then they'll make arguments about our body, like
Oh yeah.
ripping ass is not hilarious, bro.
Yeah, bad call. That's a bad call.
yeah.
Women are on notice for that.
Bro,
They also-
I will
yeah, I
die
can't
on
remember.
that hill, dude.
Yeah, saying such profound insights as, it's like a penis except it sucks and it doesn't do everything. Like it's just a failed penis is all it is.
It's inside out penis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we love them, folks. Can't live with them, can't kill them. Oh yeah, here's a note I wrote about RoboCop. Unless you.
Oh yeah, Robocop.
Here's another. Here's an optimistic take I wrote down. The hero we need is the shred of humanity left in our contemporary cyborg culture.
Is that the one mocking current social commentary?
No,
Give us that
no.
one. I want that one.
That one is. Much is made about his becoming really a device of the corporation. But I do feel like the fact that it was essentially non-consensual is underplayed. So when they were operating on him, one of the guys said he signed a release form when he joined the force, and he's dead. But I also feel like, having signed a release form was not anticipation for something of this nature. So I, even though maybe technically in the documents, I think most reasonable people would agree that he was made into RoboCop without his consent. And, I think there's an arc here where the victim of an act that was non-consensual created a monster that ultimately took down the perpetrator.
Damn. I think that's actually a really good point to take on is the consent factor, because I think that
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but were you going to say consent is overrated?
no one clip that and make it like that's what I was about to say. I was gonna say a huge part of the drama is that we imagine Murphy in a bit of a hell prison. There's a part of us is horrified at the idea of having to be the wet part of a cyborg. The way a cyborg is in Robocop is it's not empowering.
No.
It's almost like weirdly enslaved.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that there's a huge part of that and it is a really interesting thing to plug into our concepts around being a civil servant and what a good police officer actually is. We kind of want a police officer to have very little individual identity while on the job, because we imagine that kind of will lead to deviations that could only limit their ability to disinterestedly serve justice. But then also weirdly we want but we also want warm and fuzzy cops. Like we want them to play basketball with the kids in the neighborhood and build relationships where it's not about getting people for every ticket you possibly could write. We want cops who like know these people and are like, hey man, you got to get that fixed. Like that's the kind of cops we want. That's the kind of cops I want in my neighborhood.
I'll start with cops not being overweight.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Let's get over that hurdle.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't like unfit police.
No, of course not. I mean, if their job is in any way to protect and serve, yeah, it's a joke. But I've seen so many videos, and I guess probably y'all did too, whenever the ICE stuff was happening. And they shot
ice, baby, ice to see you.
You know, right after that, when there was all the protests and shit, you would see these like 260-pound, 6-foot dudes just bust ass so fucking hard. But yeah, I mean, let's have cops fit, and second thing here, maybe know the law. That'd be pretty sick. Have y'all seen this totally small tangent here? How about have y'all seen the Lego saga? The guy.
Yeah,
right?
I saw some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even in that instance, it's like.
Can you tell for the listener? Can you just recap the saga a little bit?
I can very generally, because I was literally forced to listen to this. So there was some Lego collector who collected what was it, like $200,000 or something worth of these like Star Wars Legos or something like that. Well, he was trying to sell them through a company. This company ended up being bought. The inventory, they were told that it wouldn't be an issue, that they would figure it out. Well, it turns out the company who now owns it is saying, listen, these are our Legos. We have contracts for this. And sorry, but this is ours, because we bought the company. Well, whatever, all this shit. Some YouTube guy who I don't know his name, but people should look it up because again, I don't know if y'all have seen it, but like some of the tactics he's using are really creative legally. It's like, oh, fuck, this dude's actually using the system that they're fucking over this person with against the company. And there's some legal stuff that's pretty interesting. But throughout this whole thing, there are interactions with the police. The police are showing up, being like, "Hey, man, you can't be here." This guy's trying to get the Legos back or the money for this other dude who's like 90. He's an older guy, and I don't even know that he really knows what's going on with his Lego collection. But you see the police interact multiple times where they are just like either one, ignorant of the law, or two, just outright ignoring the law, breaking the law, essentially. It's super interesting as far as like what do we expect from our police. I got not fat, Know the law,
Uh,
follow the law.
be a
It sounds
ripped
like-
lawyer.
Oh, I was gonna say that sounds like RoboCop.
Let's go.
Did y'all see that? I believe it was for the concert that's coming up at the White House, but it had Trump was planning some event where there were going to be military personnel, kind of like as the staged audience, as the like audience that they had selected, and they had BMI and height requirements.
No way. Really?
Yeah, you had to be tall enough. Yeah.
Dude, you know what? I love listening to Trump talk about the law enforcement whenever there's like an assassination attempt.
Oh yeah.
He does this really weird thing where he is always talking about how strong and how handsome the law enforcement is. It's like, it's fucking
what we
bizarre, man.
That's what
Like,
we
what
want.
the fuck is
That's
going
my
on?
only
Yeah.
complaint about a RoboCop system. But we
Is
can
that they're
fix
not
that.
handsome.
Right. Yeah, I got to do something with that helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, didn't it come off at the end?
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good
That
look,
guy
by
is
the
an
way.
Not a
interesting
good look
face.
underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Weller.
I remember thinking like, ooh, I want to draw his face. He's still like got a really interesting like construct or something.
I
I don't know
know.
what's going on with it, but
Like you thought Anakin Skywalker looked bad in whatever the last Star Wars movie was, but no, on the topic, like what I want from police. So here is my.
People love it when you don't know stuff about Star Wars. That's my experience. When people
What?
misquote or don't know something about Star Wars,
What,
people
when-
just let it go. It's just not a big deal.
What do you mean?
Oh, you
Well-
just didn't. The name of the movie didn't immediately come to you, but my experience with Star Wars fans is that
Revenge of
they
the-
let that stuff go.
Oh yeah,
They're
Revenge.
not.
of
It's not a big deal.
the bad
Revenge
guy.
of the Nerds.
Yeah, that's well. No, they're too fey and cowardly to execute. Suck it, nerds. I am anti-nerd. But what I want. Just kidding, folks. Love nerds.
Love nerds.
Nerds ropes. I don't know the other varieties that might exist.
Yeah.
No, I do.
Clusters.
Clusters, there you go. No, nerds are fine. Polycule away. Have a blast. Hell, I'll be your dungeon master. I want to roll your die or whatever. But anyway, for what I want in cops, I'm thinking about running a single issue campaign for mayor of Seattle because I don't know if y'all heard.
You need to
Katie
live there
Miller-
first. You have to move
Right.
there.
I don't. Do you have to live in the city where you're mayor? Is that even required?
That would be funny if not.
Yeah, but if that wasn't true, then we would have like Matt LeBlanc would be president of Philadelphia and all kinds of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Matt LeBlanc is such a good poll for that joke. Anyways, yeah.
yeah, did I tell you I got some real bad backlash for my pitch for an episode of Friends? That's
Really?
Well, yeah. So my single issue for mayor of Seattle or the city I live in, if that's what's required of me. I think that policemen should only patrol the neighborhood in which they live. I think
Wow.
people would love that, and I think it would be good.
I would hate to know my cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I do totally agree. But at the same time, it's like, damn.
Because
He
I heard.
knows I'm fucking chiefing, brother, allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PSR,
Yeah.
PSA, do not do drugs, folks. You'll end up,
Except for the good ones.
except for the good ones. They're not many, so
Life,
be careful.
the best drug you can find.
That's right.
No, I do think that we would benefit from just replacing law enforcement with RoboCops. What do y'all? I mean, I guess I should ask what y'all think before I express that opinion.
I mean, I gotta say,
Yay or nay?
no,
No.
not for me. Well, and the thing is like someone already said it, but it's like they are only as good as the people programming them. The people programming them are as fucked up as anyone else. You know, like who's going to be the one to regulate them?
Sam Altman.
Donald Trump, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, an open AI Robocop.
Yeah.
Not good.
You know, just be like flossing in the middle of the intersection is what would happen.
Yeah, my thing is like, you know, if our fantasy is to design a thing that is like purely moral, follows the law, all that type of shit, to get there, we live in a fantasy world. So if we're going to be in a fantasy world, I say let's just have good cops, you know? Let's just make the cops be that. Because otherwise, I don't see how... Yeah, I don't know. It's like, why is AI so shitty right now? It's because the people making it fucking suck.
And the users to a large degree as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
you know, it's like these people they give no fucks about morals. Like,
no.
Zero. So any engineering going towards a police force that is governed by them, I'm totally against.
Now the question is, could you have some kind of democratic control of the...
We don't have democracy, bro.
Yeah. But if we're projecting into the future, we solve a lot, and we can solve any other social problems to like make a Robocop work. Yeah, I don't know. I think something that I don't like about Robocop is having police officers that have like superhuman abilities. To me, feels. I think that I always want to live in an America where once in a while people are able to, I don't know,
right.
drive and escape police chasing them. Like it just adds a little something.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And to that end, a piece of software behind blocks and things is one thing. Especially as people's capabilities continue to increase, non-professionals, corporate people, independent techies. Good luck making a piece of hardware that is not hackable.
Sure. Right.
If we've got a police force of Robocops, someone out there is going to figure out how to make a Robocop floss in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Or worse.
Or even worse.
But yeah, I just think that technology, like anything is hackable. And hardware, like if you can get your hands on it, you can, and you know what's up, you can.
I just feel like the older I get, the more I'm like against technology in general. And, and especially in this sort of instance, it's like there's definitely there's no technological development that's going to resolve the fact that human beings are imperfect. There's no way around that. Nothing that we do is gonna fix that. So we might as well confront that. Like, I don't know. I don't want to spiritually.
I've got a single solution, which is to eliminate the virus.
That's some rust.
Yeah, some Rust Cole going on there.
I've got a coworker now, Rustin.
I think that's Rust Cole's full name, right?
Really? I don't know.
And not Twin Peaks, Twin Detectives. True Detective. Dude, by the way, I wanted to say before we end here, the Robocop in 2014, they gave him a sexy body. He has like boulder shoulders and six pack. So funny. They really like male bodies. They really I feel like the culture really wanted to give us more body dysmorphia as a way to create gender equality.
Yeah.
And you can really tell in the Robocop outfits. From 1987 to 2014, you can see male body dysmorphia be created. It's really interesting.
Yeah, but it's so weird. These older movies, man, they deal with the sexes in a totally different way. You know what I mean? It's like we were saying earlier, that the first, when they're in the locker room, it's just like not a thing at all. That you might see some tits or ass or something.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like when Lewis comes in, at first she's kind of like badass dom lady, but then they do some back and forth, and it's like, they're just partners who are equal, and they're like making some jokes here and there to kind of tease each other for fun. But then when Alex she asked about the pistol spinning, he says the really nice stuff about how kids need role models. Like they also seem like they're connecting just as people. I thought, like, up to Murphy's death, like their dynamic was just like, that's what equality looks like, folks.
Right, for sure.
Just chumming it up.
It's way more. Yeah, isn't that funny though? We've become so much more conscious of it now, but somehow lost the actual activity of equality or whatever. I did take one. Sorry, Jonathan.
I was gonna say, I think that one of the big mistakes Verhoeven made was that the natural outcome of society would be equality of the genders would be achieved in like a low conflict way. Like the conflict would resolve. Yeah. And I think what ended up happening over the decades is the conflict has actually stayed around. The more equal we become, it doesn't seem like a lot of the ways we measure equality, it's like so insane how much progress has been made in the recent decades, and the conflict hasn't reduced from that. So it's like something else is going on creating a conflict that I think in the 80s they probably just assumed, oh, it'll keep going and then that will cool the heat or something.
Yeah.
That's my sense.
Instead, we've got even more genders that are battling and more genders equalized.
Yeah.
No, but we love them, folks. It is happy pride. But yeah, it does seem like it's gotten hotter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Granted, I was a baby in the 80s.
I feel like maybe like from 2016 to maybe a few years ago, it felt like really high conflict between men and women.
Yeah.
It seems like that's less of an issue now, but maybe I just don't engage with stuff about it.
You don't beat up women like you used to.
Yeah. Ha ha ha.
I beat something up, boy.
Wow.
Yeah, I had my one issue I took with the thing, just like someone who shoots somewhat often, is the motherfucker didn't reload, man. I mean, especially when he's going through the warehouse.
Yeah.
I mean, how many rounds is he sending off? Like fucking 200 or something.
I looked up what his gun was.
Like, rah, 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 rah.
It rules, yeah. No reload. You know what I love too? It's action. I have grown to despise action movies now, where the choreography is so insanely complicated.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it's not nearly as cool as a guy loaded up with squibs just blowing up in blood and like falling down. It's like, that's way cooler.
Yeah.
The first John Wick, it's like kind of interesting, but like every action movie is
where they got like
all
5
this
now.
Yeah, right. And like all fighting movies now, it's the choreography, it's not interesting anymore. It's just like, oh, there's a lot of movement. Wow.
I totally agree with that, with the asterisk that I am super excited that there is a new Mortal Kombat coming out. The most recent one was not stellar, but it was still good enough to watch. The next one, man, it's gonna be sick.
We'll see.
that long, but it'll still be cool.
Hell yeah.
Michael, if you like fake fighting, come to the dark side. Join us watching pro wrestling. Come to pro wrestling, Michael.
You are getting very sleepy.
All right, did we get it, man?
I just had
Robocop.
one last detail
One
I
last.
wanted
Give
to
it to
add.
us.
So there was that like giant dinosaur kaiju ad for the 6000 SUX for the car. Just an
Sucks.
incidental, yeah, just an incidental, you know, kind of parody satire sort of advertisement for the car that everyone in the movie wanted, and that they gave the henchmen when they let them out of jail. But that ad, fun claymation, something about like it's big or whatever, and you know, giant dinosaur. That was made by the Chiodos brothers, best known for Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something we must quote also is, I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
That guy rules. The detail where that's shown, that TV show where he says that is shown a few times, and then a guy quotes it.
Right.
Like at work, someone quotes it to another person, and they get a kind of a ha 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 laugh.
Yeah.
That is so. That's world building right there.
Right.
Yeah, and I thought the interviews that they did, you know, about like policing and whatever, because there was the one guy who was about the police strike, and one of them, the first guy was like, well, they're police, they're public safety, they shouldn't strike. And then the second guy was like, what did he say? He was really funny. But, you know, he said like, it's a free world, man. I don't know. But it was, the thing that I thought was funny about him speaking was that they had a name for him, and then his title, like his descriptor, was unemployed person. Yeah, he actually was not credited. I looked him up, but it's been a couple weeks, so my tab is closed. But the actor was not credited.
Justice for unemployed man.
Yeah, unemployed and uncredited. I wonder if that was the stipulation.
Well, your Robocop dreams are probably becoming a reality. The only problem, it'll be a Neuralink chip, and it'll be controlled by open AI. Probably nothing bad will happen.
It's probably gonna be okay.
Rocco's Basilisk will operate an army of Robocops, but they're all connected by singularity over wireless internet. Robocop.
Robocop is good. The way they execute justice is flossing at intersections. That's the good news. All right. So just remember, the prophet speaks in all of us. I'm MCJC Jonathan. That's Michelangelo. Did you draw anything?
No.
No. Right on. That's producer Jim on the guitar. That was Robocop. That was PSR.